Right. Okay. So today there was some news that Iraq um, is apparently trying to change their legal age of consent down to 9 years old, which I think everyone with a brain can agree is wrong, to say the least. So because that doesn't really surprise me that they're trying to do that, I took it upon myself to look at every country, every state, every sort of region, um, to have a look at all of the ages of consent and sort of try and just see how far off or how close Iraq's new age will be. Um, if that makes sense. Not sure I've explained it very well, but you probably get the gist. Um, I wrote them all down from. I used Wikipedia. Um, granted, things can be edited for certain bits, but the ages are. They all had sources and stuff next to them. So the I haven't included I haven't written down any country, state, etc. That has their age of consent at 18 years old, because that is at least what I consider to be the correct age of consent, because that is when you become an adult. Anything less than that is frankly stupid. And yes, probably hypocritical from me because I'm from Britain and our age of consent is 16. I don't understand why. It's stupid. Um, so, without further ado, um, Algeria has their age at 16, Angola 14, Benin 16, Cameroon 16, Cape Verde 14, Chad 16, Cote d'Ivoire 15, Djibouti 15, Gabon 15 for heterosexual relationships, 21 for homosexual relationships, for comparison. The Gambia 16 for males, 18 for females. Ghana 16, Guinea 16, Guinea-Bissau 12. Libya, there is no age of consent, although sex is not allowed outside of marriage. However, the law is practically never enforced due to the Libyan civil war. Insane. Madagascar 14, in certain cases, including relatives and homosexuals, it is 21. Malawi 16, Mali 15, Mauritius 16, Namibia 16 for girls. It made no mention of what it is for boys. Niger 13 for heterosexual relationships, 21 for homosexuals. So the Western Sahara, or the Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic, has theirs at 13. Sao Tome and Principe 14, Senegal 16, Seychelles 15, South Africa 16, Togo 15, Zambia 16, Antigua and Barbuda 16, the Bahamas 16 for heterosexuals, 18 for homosexuals, Barbados 16, Belize 16, Canada 16. Costa Rica, there is no age of consent, but there are age difference limits. It is illegal for an 18-year-old or above to have sex with a 15-year-old or under if the older person is 5+ years older than the minor. If the younger is between 15 and 17, then the maximum age difference permitted is 7 years, for example. Cuba, 12. Just insanity. Dominica 16, El Salvador 15, Grenada 16, Guatemala 14, Honduras 14, Jamaica 16. With Mexico, each state sets a minimum age of consent between 12 and 15, though the federal government sets an age of 18. I don't understand that, to be honest. St. Kitts and Nevis 16, St. Lucia 16, St. Vincent and the Grenadines 15. Right, now we're on to the United States. This is all a bit more sort of confusing a bit because of all of their states. Washington, D.C., the capital, the age of consent there is 16. The states of Alabama, Alaska, Arkansas, Connecticut, Georgia, Hawaii, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Montana, Nebraska, Nevada, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New Mexico, North Carolina, Ohio, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Carolina, South Dakota, Vermont, Washington, and West Virginia, 16. The states of Colorado, Illinois, Louisiana, Missouri, New York, Texas, and Wyoming, 17. American Samoa, was it colony or something, whatever. American Samoa, 16. Guam, 16. Northern Mariana Islands, 16. Puerto Rico, 16. Argentina, minimum 13. Bolivia, 14. Brazil, 14. Chile, Colombia, Ecuador, 14. Guyana, 16. Paraguay, 14 for heterosexuals, 16 for homosexuals. Peru, 14. Uruguay, the general age of consent is 15, though sometimes can be as low as 12, depending on circumstances and area. Suriname, 16 for heterosexuals, 18 for homosexuals. Venezuela, 16. Afghanistan, sex outside of marriage is illegal, though marriage is allowed at puberty. They didn't specify an age. Armenia, 16. Azerbaijan, 16. Bahrain, sex outside of marriage is legally permissible for 21 plus years old. The marriageable age is 16 for females, 18 for males, though the minimum age to marry without permission from the girl's father/guardian is 21 years. Bahrain is quite confusing. Let me try and simplify it. If you're not married and you want to have sex with another person who is not married, you both have to be a minimum of 21 years old. You can get married at 16 if you're a woman, or 18 if you're a man. Although if you're a man and you don't have the permission of your girlfriend's dad, then you have to be 21 years old to marry her. Bangladesh, 16. Brunei, any sexual activity outside of a heterosexual marriage is illegal. The minimum age for marriage is 16. Cambodia, 15. Mainland China, 14. East Timor, 14. Hong Kong, 16, although the age of consent for a woman receiving anal sex is 21. Indonesia, 15. Iran, illegal outside of marriage. The minimum age of marriage is 15 for men, 13 for women. With permission of a court, girls may marry at a younger age. For example, in 2010, as many as 42,000 children aged between 10 and 14 were married. 716 girls younger than 10 had wed. Iraq is currently 18, but as previously mentioned, the whole point of me doing this, they are thinking of, or they are trying to get it down to 9 years old. Israel, 16. Japan, 16. Kazakhstan, 16. Kuwait, it's illegal outside of marriage, but the marriageable age is 17. Kyrgyzstan, 16. Laos, 15. Macau, 14. Malaysia, 16. Maldives, illegal outside of marriage. The marriageable age is 18, but can be 16 with parental consent. Mongolia, 16. Myanmar, 16. If married, 15. North Korea, 15. Philippines, 16. Singapore, 16. South Korea, 16. Sri Lanka, 16. Syria, 15. Taiwan and Tajikistan, 16. Thailand, 15. Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Vietnam, 16. In Yemen, it's illegal outside of marriage. There is no minimum age for marriage. Pure insanity. Albania, 14. Andorra, 14. Austria, 14. Belarus, Belgium, 16. Bosnia and Herzegovina, 14. Bulgaria, 14. Croatia, 15. Cyprus, 17. Northern Cyprus, 16. Czechia, 15. Denmark, including the Faroe Islands and Greenland, 15. Estonia, 16. Finland, including Åland Islands, 16. France, 15, including but not limited to its overseas territories, etc., of Mayotte, Reunion, French Southern and Antarctic lands, Clipperton Island, French Polynesia, and Wallis and Futuna. Georgia 16, Germany 14, Greece 15, Hungary 14, Iceland 15, Ireland 17, Italy 14, Kosovo and Latvia 16, Liechtenstein 14, Lithuania 16, Luxembourg 16, Malta 16, Moldova 16, Monaco 15, Montenegro 14, Metropolitan Netherlands 16, the Metropolitan Territories of Bonaire, Saba and St Eustatius 16, the Netherland colonies of Curacao, Aruba and St Martin 15, North Macedonia 14, Norway including Svalbard 16, Poland 15, Portugal including Madeira 14, Romania 16, Russia 16, San Marino 14, Serbia 14, Slovakia 15, Slovenia 15, Spain including the Canary Islands, Ceuta and Melilla 16, Sweden 15, Switzerland 16, Ukraine 16, the United Kingdom as a whole 16, England and Wales 16, Scotland 16, Northern Ireland 16. Those, for extra context, are done separately because they have their own separate laws, although they have all agreed to do the same one, so I'm not sure why they're separated. The overseas territory of Akrotiri and Dhekelia 16, Gibraltar 16, Guernsey including Alderney, Herman, Sark 16, Isle of Man 16, Jersey 16, St Helena, Ascension and Tristan da Cunha 16, Anguilla 16, Bermuda and the British Virgin Islands 16, the Cayman Islands 16, Montserrat 16, the Turks and Caicos Islands 16, the Falkland Islands 16, South Georgia and the South Sandwich Islands 16, the Pitcairn Islands 16. The Australian states of New South Wales, Queensland, Victoria, Western Australia, Northern Territory, Australian Capital Territory 16. The states or territories, I don't know what the preferred terminology is, sorry if I butchered that prior, South Australia and Tasmania 17, the Coral Sea Islands Territory and Norfolk Island 16, Cook Islands 16, Fiji 16, Kiribati 15, the Marshall Islands and Nauru 16, New Zealand including Tokelau 16, Niue 15, Palau 17, Papua New Guinea 16, Samoa 16, Solomon Islands 15, Tonga 15, Tuvalu 15, and Vanuatu 15 for heterosexuals but 18 for homosexuals. Every other country and state, region, territory, district that hasn't been mentioned has their age of consent at 18. This is a surprising amount that doesn't, and a surprising amount in Europe, may I say. I just wanted to make that clear to people because I feel like most people are unaware, and this perhaps is why Iraq wanting a lower age shouldn't really come as much of a surprise. It's still bad, obviously, but it shouldn't really come as a surprise when you look at the rest of the world, especially countries in that area. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.